Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So my kids are home from break, right? This is actually going live the day after Christmas. So Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate Christmas, and happy holidays to the rest of you. I hope that you are enjoying your time before the end of the year. I absolutely love this time of year. One, I'm not a slave to anybody else's schedule, so I get to spend more time with my kids, sleep a little bit later, really have a whole lot more flexibility in terms of the day. But I also love this time of year because I love the reflection and the prepping that goes into this time of year, right? So we spend, whether you do it intentionally or not, we naturally spend some time reflecting on what happened this year, as well as preparing for the next year. It's often a time where people will set New Year's resolutions and those kinds of things, right? And really start to talk about what it is that they want in the new year. And I'm going to challenge you a little bit here. So if it's not fun, why are you doing it? Now, I can hear the people saying, well, it's something that I have to do. You're right. Maybe it is something that you have to do, but is there any way that you could make it enjoyable? Right? Is there any way that you can infuse some fun into it? Because here's what I know, right? If you treat it as a game, one, chances are you probably take some more pressure off of yourself, right? Two, you'll probably enjoy it a whole lot more, right? I know here around my house, we love to play board games. We love to play card games, right? We played Uno last night, and my youngest daughter just kept grabbing fistfuls of cards because she wanted the game to go longer and longer and longer, right? And so if it's not fun, why are you doing it? And if you have to do it, can you make it more fun? Can you make it more enjoyable, right? And I will forever remember this scenario with my kids, because kids naturally make everything a game. You can probably hear them in the background. They're not being quiet right now, even though I asked them to be. But kids will make everything a game. And I remember one time my younger two, we call them the tornadoes, because they will move from room to room and make a mess in each room as they go through it, right? So we do call them the twin tornadoes, right? And so one day they had their Barbies just spewed all over the living room. And it was towards the end of the day, and I didn't want to clean them up. I was like, I'm not doing it. So I said, okay, girls, I want you to clean up your Barbie dolls. And they were like, oh, but we're still playing. I was like, you're not. They've been here for a couple of hours. You're not playing with them anymore. Let's put them away. So they took one handful of Barbies into their room, and then they saw their inflatable, like, bouncy horses, right? They're these little inflatable things that they sit on and they bounce all through the house on, right? And they saw them, and they immediately turned, picking up the Barbies into the game. So they sat on these little unicorn horses that they had, and they bounced their way into the living room, grabbed as many Barbies as they could, and they bounced their way back to the room. It became a race. How quickly could they get this done, right? And it was something that they, quote unquote, had to do, that I had asked them to do, but they turned it into a game, and it was fun, and it was quickly over. They were like, okay, they're done, right? There was no fussing, there was no crying, there was nothing else involved in that, right? But as we get older, and we go into this adulthood thing, right? Like, you hear people on social media talk a lot about adulting is hard, right? Adulting isn't fun. It's not enjoyable. You just pay bills and that kind of thing, right? But what if you did make it fun? Because the truth is, you're choosing not to have fun, or you could choose to have fun. And I know for me that when I have fun in my business, when I have fun showing up here on YouTube or on my podcast, when I have fun, my message lands differently. It resonates differently. And so I know that when I have more fun, I actually make more money. And I remember that I shared this on an episode just recently, that I I had been trying not to have fun, right? I was making it hard for whatever reason, right? There's this limiting belief that I have to do hard stuff to make money. And that belief is being rewritten, right? But it's sometimes it comes up and you're like, wait a second, I thought I handled that. Like, where is that coming from, right? But if you have fun, if you're doing something that you love, and you will hear this from all kinds of people at all different kinds of levels, right? If you are having fun, it is way more enjoyable, obviously, right? But like, if you love the work that you do, it doesn't feel like work. And this brings me up to this next question of, if you treat your business like a business, does it pay you like a business? Well, yeah, but what are you defining as a business? Because to me, business feels stuffy, right? It's like you have to wear a suit and tie, and it has these rules that you have to follow, where it's like, if I think of something that I do just for the fun of it, it doesn't feel stuffy. It feels fun. And so you get to define, this is the beauty of this, you get to define what it means to have a business, a successful business, what it means to enjoy life, right? Like, you get to do all of these things, but most of us are just waiting for the world to respond to us. But the truth is, we actually have to lead first, and then people will respond, right? So why are you doing it if it's not fun? I'll never forget, I posted this in a Facebook group a couple of years ago, and there was that question: if it's not fun, if your business isn't fun, why are you doing it? And it was simply to engage people, right? To get a conversation going. And there was so much backlash from that post that the owner of the group ultimately had to take the post down, because people were attacking me at the thought that you could make money and have fun at the same time. This is why my first brand was called The Overjoyed Mom, right? You can be a mom and still have fun. You can grow a business and still have fun. They are not mutually exclusive. You get to do both of these things. But so many of us grow up with this mentality that, you just get a job to pay the bills, and the fun is what you have when you leave your job on the weekends. That sucks. I don't want to do that, right? But I can grow a business and make money and have a whole bunch of fun because it's what I'm choosing to do. So I'm challenging you. Look at somebody who absolutely loves their life. They just seem to have so much fun. They enjoy life. They travel. They do whatever, right? Like, look at their life. Find out what they're doing. Right? Like, for me, fun is not an afterthought. Right? Like, I talked about this before. On my $1 million version of me, the very first thing is I wake up excited. I look forward to the day. And I joke with people because when they find out, they'll be like, oh, hey, let's go out for coffee. Okay, cool. I'll go out for coffee, but I don't drink coffee. And they give me this, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't drink coffee? I don't drink coffee. I tell them, I'm like, I don't drink coffee. I just naturally wake up this excited about the day. And I get kind of the sideways glance, like, you have 4 kids. How do you not drink coffee? Because I choose to get out of bed excited for the day. Right? This morning, I was tired. I was a little bit tired, and I laid there a little bit longer, and I started to think to myself, God, this is going to be a long day. And then I went, you know what? No, like, I get to do these things. We're going to make Christmas cookies. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Like, there are things that I look forward to every day because I make it a priority to choose how I wake up. Because I know that when I wake up excited for the day, I have a great day. I let the little things just roll off my back. I don't get stressed as easily. And I certainly have way more patience with my kids, with my husband, with everybody in general, right? And so if you're not having fun, 1, quit doing it. Or if it's something that you have to do, right? Like it's an obligation, how can you make it fun? Because I guarantee you that if you have a job that you don't think is fun right now, if you made it into a game, people would notice. In a good way. They'd be like, "Huh, what's gotten into Steph today? Like, she's so excited to be here." And guess what? Fun cultivates more fun, cultivates joy, cultivates happiness, right? Like, all of these things hang out together. And so if you're not having fun, make it a game, right? Like, I remember I was interviewing somebody for the podcast a couple years ago, and she was a financial coach. She was giving some strategy and some tips on, sticking to your budget each month and how to pay off debt and all this stuff. And I'll never forget, I said, well, how do you enjoy this? Because it feels heavy. It doesn't feel like something I would enjoy. And she said, I make it a game. She says, we see how we can we make it fun to stick to the budget, or we make it fun to come in under budget and then are like, oh, what can we do with the extra from that thing? And I was like, oh, that's kind of fun, actually. All right, cool. Let's make it a game. I promise you, if you make something a game, it will be way more enjoyable. Not only that, you're going to get way more momentum out of it. And it's going to happen faster, and it's going to happen easier because you're not stressing, you're not weighing yourself down with all that stuff. So, as we move into the new year, I challenge you to make it a game. How can you have more fun? How can you cultivate more joy in your life? And I would love to hear from you. If you are watching this on YouTube, I would love if you would comment, like, or subscribe. If you share it, I'm absolutely honored that you would share it. Also on my podcast, if you want to rate the podcast, if you want to share this episode, you can share it in your stories on Instagram and tag me, Stephanie Snyder, Ph.D. And if you do have any questions about working with me, if 2025 is the year where you're ready to just have it all, I'm ready to help. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Happy to have a conversation with you. I do have some spots available for private coaching still, and I'm so excited for what 2025 is going to bring. So as we wrap up the year here, we're going to have another episode. Another episode will go live before the end of the year. But as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.